Self-love is a journey and a practice, and it starts with, you guessed it, yourself. I often talk about self-love as self-care. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what self-love means and how we can start to take some self-care practices and create some of these rituals for ourselves. With love, all things are possible. Problem is, most people don't know what the hell love is, especially when it comes to loving themselves. We go around the world chasing love outside of ourselves, in other people, in things, in job, all external stuff. We forget what's most important, which is caring for ourselves. I know that when I was a bit younger, and of course still now, because I'm human, I put a lot of my attention and a lot of my stock in other people. And I created a story about them, unconsciously, of course. But when that story didn't match up to what I was expecting, then I was disappointed. And it's interesting how with intimate partners, with family, love can turn right around in a split second. The question is that love? There's a flawed definition of selfishness. We often think of selfishness as a bad thing. But really, when we can spend time focusing on ourselves and being, in a sense, self-centered, where everything comes from us, the world emanates from us, we can start to have a more fulfilling life. I like to use this double-sided coin of self-centered versus self-absorbed. Self-absorbed to me is when the world revolves around you and we need all of this external validation from the outside or love on the outside to give us our sense of fulfillment. Really, it's exactly the opposite way around. I often talk of love or self-love as a cup. Actually, I don't quote the Bible too much, but I do love the very short phrase from Psalms. It's actually Psalms 23:5. My cup runneth over. Basically means that when we can fill our own cup with our love for ourselves, then as that cup overflows, the overflowing is the love that we give to other people. We often go around loving other people and giving it all away, and at the end of the day, we've got nothing left. And that's draining, and it's unsustainable. So we have to be able to fill our own cup first. When we love other people, and this might be a little controversial to you, but you really can't love other people, you give yourself away. And what I mean by that is, we create a story about other people. When we think we love somebody else, what we're really loving is that experience of them, that story that we make them out to be. And the reason that love can turn to hate or anger so quickly is because we have the story of them, which is what we love, which is what we think of as the person we're loving. And then when that story turns out to be not so true, then we become disappointed. We no longer see them for what we think they are, but rather who they actually are. And it doesn't fall within our expectations. So how do we begin to turn this around? We make it self-centered once again. And that self-centeredness is the self-love, which I like to call self-care. So self-care comes in two forms. active and passive. Active is when you're taking your mind and consciously focusing on some kind of practice. Whether that practice be a meditation, an exercise, cooking, a morning ritual with writing, positive affirmations, so on and so forth, you get the idea. Basically, active self-love is doing something for yourself that nobody else can do for you. So let's go back to morning ritual. How you wake up and how you prepare yourself to meet the world dictates how your day is going to go. So if you're coming from a place of wanting to please other people and wanting to just get things done so you can feel accomplished, you might get those things done, but at the end of the day, you might feel a little drained. You might feel like you've given away so much that there's nothing left for you. So going back to the cup, think of what we can do to fill our cup first. Hey, drink a glass of water. That's a great way to start the day. That's what I do. Actually, I do that first, and then I sit for my meditation. Well, yeah, that. In that order. So that's the first thing. Another thing you can do is journal. I like to have a nice cup of coffee or matcha or something that gets me going, gives me some kind of sustenance. Like with fats, I like to put butter and MCT oil and collagen protein and like all this other stuff I'll do another video about. And I'll read, I'll watch some videos, sometimes I'll write and stretch. And that sets the tone for me. I'm spending time with myself and caring for myself so I can go out and face the day. And I can come from a place of self-centered, self-fulfillment, and I find that I can meet people much more presently because I've been able to be more present with myself. Exercise and yoga is another one. I've talked about this before. It's kind of self-explanatory. Basically, nobody can exercise or stretch or do yoga or breathe for you. You might have an instructor for yoga, you might have a personal trainer who helps you, but essentially they can't do the lift for you. They can't hold that pose for you. You're giving yourself this attention that is strengthening you. It's giving you better integrity in your body. It's helping your focus. And it's overall improving your life. Cooking and eating right. Specifically cooking, you're putting your attention into one of the most intimate relationships that we have, which is with food. I prefer to put the best ingredients in my body that I can find, specifically when I'm at home. When I go out into the world, it's like all bets are off. 80-20, I'll eat all the best at home, 80%, and then 20% go out into the world and I'll have some French food, have some Italian food, and treat myself. But cooking is a beautiful practice. You can get so creative with it, especially if you have some great ingredients. I like to use truffle salt, black garlic. My goodness, it's endless. Another active practice, organize your space. I'm a firm believer that the environment that you live in, you're creating. And it's an externalization of your mind. Might be sobering too if you're looking around your room while watching this video and seeing an absolute mess. Well, guess what? It's time to clean it up. Cleaning and organizing and arranging your space to how it feels inspiring, Marie Kondoing, is a great way to give yourself the love and attention and care that you deserve. Another daily thing to do, that I do every single day, love it or hate it, make my bed. Making your bed is a great way to set a foundation for the day. Number one, because you've accomplished something. If you don't do anything else during the day, you've made your bed. And number two, it's the little things that add up over time. I believe it was Tim Ferriss who advocated for making a list of the top 10 things you want to accomplish in a day, and then circle the top 3. And we really shouldn't expect ourselves to do more than that, because we set ourselves up for failure otherwise. Remember, this is a self-care ritual. One more practice that's kind of active, it's kind of passive, is baths. Sometimes, it's actually been a while honestly, but I like to take a bath with Epsom salt and baking soda. Light some candles, put a little essential oil in there, put on some music, you get the idea. Such a relaxing thing to do, specifically at the end of the day, great way to unwind and once again have this routine that's like your morning routine, but this is not gearing you up for the day, but easing you into the night and relaxing you for sleep and activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the relaxing, rejuvenating, healing state of your nervous system. We're often in a sympathetic fight or flight, get it kind of mentality during the day. We often don't know how to turn that off. So taking a hot bath with some of your favorite essential oils, whatever it is you like to put in there, maybe a bath bomb or something, and ease you into the night is a great self-care ritual. Another one is flotation tanks. These things are awesome. I live in Los Angeles. They're all over the place here. I can spit on a flotation tank facility. But if you have access to this, it's an amazing way to have a meditation, to even fall asleep, basically to give yourself that kind of care that you're engaged in a certain way, but you're also relaxed. Sometimes flotation tanks will have lights. You can do it in darkness, which I prefer. Sometimes they have music or certain sounds, nature sounds. I like just darkness, silence, and meditate on my body a little bit, feel the floating sensation, and eventually fall asleep. Either way, you're giving yourself this much needed attention, which is, in a funny sense, completely zoning out, but in a relaxed setting. So I've talked about active self-care rituals. Passive are, in a sense, just as important. And number 1 is sleep. Sleep is an activity. We actually think of sleep as something that just happens when we're tired, but really there are so many hacks and things that you can put in order to get the best out of your sleep. First thing I recommend, sleep mask. Ever since I bought it, I've used it every single night, is the sleep mask I got from Manta Sleep. They have these eye cups that completely cover your eyes and block out any light that might be in the room. They're awesome. Check them out. Now, speaking of light in the room, another thing you can do is to eliminate all the LEDs in your room, any kind of lights. There are so many lights on all of our little gadgets and gizmos, and if you can get a piece of tape or somehow turn it off, your skin actually has photoreceptors on it. So even if you're fully covered, your skin on your face can be receiving light, and it's altering your hormones. And if you know about blue light at night, we have the night shift on our phone that turns the light spectrum orange, but still there is some blue light getting through. That's actually another thing to do, is to eliminate or at least reduce the blue light that you're receiving late at night. But back to sleep, supplements can be great too. I've taken everything from melatonin, 5-HTP, GABA, and something I still take periodically, which works absolute wonders for me, is valerian root. I drink it as a tea, knocks me out, and I sleep so soundly, 8 hours, maybe 9 hours sometimes, and I feel so refreshed when I wake up in the morning. Sleep is so important, getting at least 7 hours, up to 9 hours. If you're younger, you can actually get more. If you're older, you don't need as much, but 7 to 9 hours is ideal. And if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not showing up to the world in the way that you need to, and you're not giving yourself that care first. Now, it's kind of an active, but obviously a passive activity as well. But remember, it's an activity. So sleep accordingly. Another great thing, massage or a spa day. You can get a facial, get a hot stone massage, cupping. Massage is great. Enough said. Acupuncture. Acupuncture is another practice that I look forward to doing more in the near future. But I found myself very relaxed sitting on the table or lying on the table and getting pricked. And it's really not as painful as I thought it was, depending on what you're there for. Even if you're just there for general self-care, it's another great practice. Sound baths are another great modality, very relaxing. In LA, you can probably find a sound bath every day of the week, and like 10 on the full moon and new moon and equinox and solstice and etc. But if you don't live in Los Angeles, you can probably find a sound bath in one of the larger cities near you. So these are some of the practices for self-care, for creating self-love that I recommend. And to wrap it up, it's really important to create these as a routine. I know periodically we can get a massage, we can get an acupuncture treatment, we can every once in a while do this flotation tank, or maybe wake up and have a meditation once a week or twice a week, or something that's intermittent. But what's most important is finding something that gives you that satisfaction, gives you that sense of peace and fulfillment from within that you want to do every day, or that you feel you need to do every day to keep that sense of tranquility, to keep that equanimity. I do about half a dozen of these practices every day. And I find that if I don't do one of these practices, like meditate in the morning, I can get away with it for a day or maybe two. But after about 2 or 3 days, hi kitty, I can tell that my equilibrium is off. And the next day I need to wake up and do that again first thing. And if you don't do it, it's okay. Part of this practice is about self-acceptance. And if you're beating yourself up or feeling guilty for not doing some of these things, then you got to pay attention to that, because it's all about allowing what is at the moment and building a sense of peace and acceptance that is self-love. So I trust that some of this information could be valuable to you, that you may take 1 or 2 or 10 of these practices and incorporate them into your life. And I want to thank you for watching this video, as it means a lot to me to share my experience and share some of my practices with you. If you like this video, hit the like button below, subscribe to my channel. I've got lots more content coming, at least 1 video a week, maybe 2, 3 if I feel really productive. But otherwise, just want to keep creating some value for you guys. And if you have any self-care routines and regimens that I didn't touch on, I would love to hear about it. Please comment below and let me know how this video was helpful for you, or if I missed something. Anyway, that's it, and I'll see you on the next one.